Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here today for a double event, double commemoration, as it were. First of all, it's a Freewill concert given by the people who use the organ day in, day out, and it's our thanks back to the authorities, trustees and such like of Commemoration Methodist Church for letting us do so free of charge and whenever we like and drive everybody mad all around the building. We're very grateful. And so I will remind you again later, but you will need to have all the cash available for when you depart the building. The collection will go in aid of organ maintenance, and they're expensive things. The other commemoration is that it is 150 years this year since this organ first arrived in this building, and 130 years since it had a major rebuild and enlargement. More of that later. First of all then, before we start, fire exits are behind you, where you came in. If the fire is at that end, oh well. But down through that little door there, down the rickety staircase, to your left, out, it's all unlocked, there's no locked doors in the way. That will get you outside. And the conveniences are down there as well, should you need them. If you just check your phones, that they're on silent, or off, or airplane mode, not that we're going anywhere, we'd be grateful. And while you're doing that, just make sure that the cash is ready. Otherwise, strap yourselves in, and we're ready to go.
Afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out. Cornell and Kevin are both my pupils. Cornell did her BMAs a little bit before I went to university, and came back to the organ 4 years ago. She was my first private student in Grahamstown, and I think she's amazing. And well done, Cornell. Professor Kevin Lobb, that's been, almost 2 years now, Kevin. And Kevin was already a decent pianist, but discovered that he loved the organ, and he took to it like a duck to water, and he practices, as does Cornell, assiduously, and it shows. And I'm just very, very proud of you both, and I don't get to tell you that often enough. Well done, guys. You make me so happy. Now, this morning, of course, I woke up and the middle finger of my left hand was twice its normal size. I suffer from gout, which is not a very convenient thing ever, and it's very painful. However, the first piece that I'm playing of my Bach Alf has only got a chorale melody in the left hand, so I think I'm going to be okay with that one. But Dr. Coburn has very kindly stepped into the breach and is going to play the Mendelssohn Sonata for me, because that's got lots and lots of semi-bows, and it will just be too sore, and I'm sorry. But thank you, Christopher, for being the professional you are and being able to do that for me. I'm very, very grateful. So, without further ado, Sleeper's Wake.
just to say something briefly. Is this on? Is there a magic trick? If somebody has to turn it on. Thank you. Just to say briefly, if you calculate your program, you'll see that the two movements of the sonata are numbered in reverse order. That is not in a script. Peter decided to play for a recital. He ordered the two movements in reverse order. This is because although the sonatas are named according to the classical sonata form, they're not really sonatas. They were originally commissioned as voluntaries. And so the first movement, which I will be playing second, is in three parts. There's a grand processional, and then a rather somber middle section, which, if you listen carefully, you'll hear in the pedals of the organ comes a Lutheran chorale called Out of the Depths I Call to You, based on one of the Psalms. And then the processional music from the beginning returns, and then the second movement is a very quiet movement. And the idea is that this was a quiet moment immediately before the service started. Whether or not that was the intention, in a recital, the movements work in many ways better in the order that Peter was going to play them, and so I'm going to stick to that, even though on the program it says 2 and then 1.
Tuesday is the 16th of December and a public holiday. So you'll all be doing nothing. And in the evening, there is another Christmas concert which you can attend, given by our friends called the Sacred Emporium, a small local ensemble, and that will be at 6 o'clock in the evening at St. Bartholomew's Church, right up there on Market Street and St. Bartholomew's Road. So please go and support them. It'll be a good concert, quite nice people, good music, well sung, in a lovely building with a lovely acoustic, and it'll take you even further into the Christmas spirit. Next, another comic piece really, Penguin's Playtime. I have no idea why it's called Penguin's Playtime. The instruction is to play it jauntily. I played it once since I arrived in this country, or this hemisphere, and that was in St. Mark's Church some years ago. It was well received then, it might be well received today, but I play it by request. So a little bit of fun for you there. After that, we take a little change, we sort of flip the page in the book, and we look a little more historically in the programme. If you came to this building over 150 years ago, it wouldn't have looked exactly like this. Foundation stone 1845, the building was finished and opened in 1850, according to that memorial. And for a while there probably was no instrument, but in 1875, the firm of Henry Bellington and Company and Sons of London supplied an organ for this building. Most of that instrument, it was a two-manual instrument, so two keyboards. It was a substantial instrument. Most of what you see here and here is from that original construction. It was enlarged after a substantial rebuild in 1894 to 95. So we're keeping those two coincidental anniversaries this year, so 150 years and 130 years. In the major rebuild of 1895, the third manual was added, which actually is the bottom one. It's debatable whether it was a huge success. The pipes were all stuck in down the side here, so judge for yourselves. But to commemorate, to bring that together, I've chosen to play a sonata by Joseph Gabriel Weinberger, which happened to be written and published in 1875. He was a composer from Liechtenstein, there aren't many of those, and he went to study and live and teach and spend the rest of his life in Munich, dying in 1901. A great teacher, much sought after by people from all over the world to study composition mainly. Wrote 20 organ sonatas, probably planned to write 24, one in every key, and all the 20 are in different keys altogether anyway. This is the third, the Pastoral in G major. The title Pastoral is slightly misleading. You would think of nymphs and shepherds and sheep bouncing around in the field. Well, it doesn't really have that feel. The first movement, to which that's particularly applicable. It's quite loud, and the whole sonata really is based on a Gregorian chant, so plain chant. The eighth tone, there's no mistaking it. From the very outset, it's thundered out in the pedals, and then the whole pastoral idea really is taken from the subsequent movement of the manual parts, which go in triple time, so that's pastoral. And the theme comes back to complete in the pedals and the movement ends. There's a short intermezzo, charming little piece, and you'll hear the oboe stop. And then we drive into the fugue. Weinberger is a great contrapuntist. These fugues are very well crafted, there's second nature to him, quite good counterpoint, and it's a good whistleable tune. Also here you will find the subject, the main theme of the tune, the fugue that starts, is combined later with massive chords. Well, first of all we get a softer chordal presentation of the Gregorian theme again, the chant, and then later both are combined, very skillfully, if I may say so. Following that, Christopher is going to play some music which comes from the actual programme of 1895. the two pieces, and I think he's going to say something on those a little later. So, anniversary music.
No, it wasn't a deliberate mistake. I sat down and opened the book, and I saw the familiar music, and I just played it in order. I'm always proud. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. The two pieces which I'm going to play now, I promise I won't come around with the order of these in any way whatsoever. The first one is the offertory, based on 2 Christmas hymns. And the second of the 2 Christmas hymns, I don't think there's anyone here that is unlikely to recognize it, but you probably could win a prize if you recognize the first one. The first one is an old French Christmas carol called Fair Star That I Adore. It's about the Christmas star. The second one, Oh, come all ye faithful. I think I'll just say it straight out. Nothing further needs to be said about that. But the piece is in 3 sections. The first takes little elements from the 2 tunes and puts them together into an introduction. Then you'll hear the French carol with the varying accompaniment, and then the last section, which ends very quietly. Again, I think it's the idea this is going to be played before the service. People are quiet, so just before the start of the service. It ends on a very peaceful note. You'll hear, but you'll hear throughout the O Come All Ye Faithful tune. And then the second of the 2 pieces, the grand chœur, is a term that's used for a lot of French organ music that just makes a terrific noise.